What is happening? We are back. It's the Dirty South podcast with the great Brant Parsons and Jason Fulmore. Brant of Cabra Wrestling and Jason of SE Wrestle. So, first things first, you'll see that Brant's got a special offer out there for his website. $1 for the first month. So get up in there as wrestling season is
Well,
hitting
Cobber
in.
Cobber Plus turned 4 years old Sunday.
Four. You're four.
So this is year five, Cobra Plus and Cobra
Aw,
Wrestling
Happy birthday,
covering
Cabra.
wrestling. So
very
a
cool.
dollar for
That's
anybody
the
that hasn't tried it yet, wants to for the first month, and then full price after that first
I
month.
think I think I think it might be a little bit older than that.
yours. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that, but me generally too.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think last year we previewed the women's,
last
and
week
Last week, yeah.
last week. Did I say last year?
you did, but you
Yeah,
got
but that's
interrupted in
okay.
your shower today,
We
so
did
you're a
that
little
too.
off.
I was stuck in the shower with no water, so probably took my brains with it.
Braggart talking about how he has time for a shower.
Uh, and anyway, so this week we're going to do the boys. Lots to talk about because there is a lot of uh, great boys. Obviously, 97% of this tournament is Florida kids, but the
Yeah.
other 3% that aren't Florida kids are really good. So,
Yeah, they are. They,
uh,
they come in from Georgia, and we got an Illinois kid, we got some Ohio kids, or a couple of Illinois kids, Ohio kids, and we saw the Illinois kids like last year do exceptionally well down here. So, it's gonna be fun to kind of just watch the majority, and I know that's Brandt's focus, right? That Brandt's focus is and your focus is the Florida kids and those sorts of things. For me, it's really like kind of watching that and kind of seeing how they do against kind of the Georgia kids and that sort of thing. So it'll be fun. Before we jump into it, though, Dan, we want to make sure that we share the information from Jim
Yes.
Price, right,
yeah,
about
absolutely.
some changes and everything else.
Yeah. So, obviously, I know there's been a lot of, I'm sure Jim's heard the whispers and people saying, why has the tournament gotten shifted to where it's Saturday afternoon and all day Sunday? Well, after Price already secured everything with the school decided to drop a volleyball game on them on Saturday and shift them. Not really with a lot of notice, so he was scrambling and kind of got stuck with that. So, anybody want to know why it got shifted? That was the school's doing, not Jim Price's.
And
Also,
tell us, Dan, how it was shifted in case anybody isn't aware of that.
yeah, so it was shifted. There's a volleyball tournament, so they have to play Friday and Saturday. Um, and it got moved now to 2 p.m. start time on Saturday. Now, listen, that
This
is
is for the girls in middle school too. That got shifted.
Right.
The
They're the
days got
ones
shifted
are
too.
wrestling on Saturday, right?
right, right. So middle school and girls folk will go in the morning. Girls freestyle
No, they
around
won't go in the
5.
morning. They will go at 2 p.m.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Don't get there, but in the morning. Do not get there in the
School and
morning.
girls.
Don't do not get there before 1 p.m. is the main
Anyway, we'll go
event.
first. We'll go first, and then around 5. Now, listen, the goal is start time at 2 p.m. They do have to wait for this volleyball thing to finish, and then they have to roll out the mats and set up the whole gym. So 2 p.m. is the goal, but they're kind of at the mercy of that. One
Yes.
thing they have asked is please zero spectators before 1 p.m. Zero spectators. Now, I understand if you're dropping your athlete off or your child off and they have to go in and meet their coach or they have to go in and do weigh-ins or if they go in,
Check weight, yeah.
whatever it may be, that is allowed. Um, but please, 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 they have to clear the gym of the volleyball fans and all that stuff. So please don't do that. Obviously, we touched on start time there. High school boys Sunday at 8 a.m. sharp. And his exact words is, "We're going to run it till the wheels fall off." So his
Well, they
goal,
have to. I mean,
Yeah.
right, his
And they're still
goal,
doing morning and afternoon on Sunday also, right? Where they're going to run
correct. No, they're
yeah,
still
106
doing
to
morning,
44, I
44.
believe, and then 50 and up is afternoon start.
Yeah,
absolutely.
which is great. I mean, honestly, I'll be honest with you. Like, I don't know many other places that split it like that, but especially for parents. We're always concerned about, nobody wants to sit in the gym all day. Coaches are there, and kids are going to be there and that sort of thing. The officials are there and everything else. But parents, man, they don't want to sit there for 10 hours. So like
Yes,
let's make it efficient for them and like get them out of there.
right. And
And
speaking
listen,
of
they know
that,
you need to get back for school Monday. They know that some of you guys have 5, 6, 7 hour drives after they're going to.
and
Can we
listen,
say
and
this on our podcast? I can go balls to the wall to
and
get this thing done.
that leads right into, look, they can't just take one more. He's gotten
Yes.
100 calls of just take one more. You can fit it in the bracket. Just take one more. It's He'd have another 500 kids, and it's not about the bracket. It's about the match limit that they can go during the day and having people in and out at a sufficient time. And like he said, registration has been open since May.
Yeah.
So
Well, you know what? That leads
we have
to a
time.
really good point, Dan, and that is we're doing this show based upon that pre-registration, and
Yes.
we already know that changes are happening. And I dropped a preview on the Substack earlier today based upon Cabra's rankings and that pre-registration list and everything else. And one of the biggest things I put up there was, you know what? This is all kind of a guess. I mean, I'm not saying it's not a complete guess because everybody registered or pre-registered, but the truth of the matter is weights are going to change. Kids are not going to show.
Yeah.
I can't imagine anybody shows
Right.
who we haven't had on the registration list, but you're
I
going to
mean,
have to take what we're saying here with a grain of salt.
I
You know what
know
I mean?
I know one or two that aren't showing that are still on the list because of injury. Just in coach's confidence. So there's going to be kids
Well,
that
Right.
aren't there just because they're
it's like
hurt or for
Florida
other reasons.
weather. If it's raining, just wait a minute, it'll change.
Sure. Super 32 early entry is like Florida weather. And just a note, 363 people are registered for the morning session, 206 for the afternoon on Sunday.
And man, it's going to be so good. So let's jump into this. Is
I
that
mean,
okay?
yeah,
Yeah.
listen, 56 man brackets. I mean,
Yeah. So let's give some context. So let's start with last year. Lazaro Soto, Lucas Barrios, Bradley Patterson, Reed Yates, Giovanni Solis, Emmett Nelson out of Illinois, EJ Solis, Zeno Moore, Tyree Graham, CJ Torres, Ronald Robinson out of Illinois, Mateo Martinez, Mendez, Joey Schulze from Camden. We're talking about those were your champs a year ago. And I'll tell you what, after the three of us have had conversations offline leading up to this conversation or leading up to this preview, it is going to be a grind. I mean, there are just some absolutely fantastic brackets, and we will not touch on everyone. There's just no way. So if we don't mention your name, you know what? We're going to probably do a post show to talk about what happened. And you know what? You can make sure your name's on that show
The ones we
by going
missed.
out and freaking dominating this weekend so that there's no way in the world that we cannot say your name. So, anyway, I'm just saying that, to throw that out there. This is a fantastic tournament. All of that to say, Florida, I don't think has had a Super 32 boys high school champ since 2019. So it's going to be, I mean, will we see someone competing this weekend who will go up to Greensboro in a month and be able to claim a belt? I don't know.
and who was that boy in 2019?
That would be somebody sitting in the corner of Gladiator Wrestling Club, and that would be Bradley Reyna. So,
Baby Duck, as he's starting to get called.
you know what? Yeah. All right. All
All
right.
right.
So let's jump off here, and we're gonna kick it to 144 pounds. If you can't tell, we are not going weight class order. I asked both of these individuals what was their favorite weights or what were some weights that they were really interested in watching. Dan's first response was every single weight, right?
Because they're all good. Have you went through these weight classes?
I have actually, and he had every single weight. So we picked 144 to start. Dan, why 144? What is it about 144 that is intriguing to you?
First of all, I mean, and sorry guys, I've got my glasses on, but I can't still read my print. But 48 man bracket, first of all, 48 man bracket. You've got, according to the great Cabra Wrestling, and we have 7 returning state placers. 15 of these are ranked in the top 10. 7 of them are ranked in the top 3. On top of that, we have a Mason Basil who was injured last year, so he didn't participate in the state tournament. But if you rewind one year, he was third at states at 144. And this young man, when he is healthy, he has beaten the likes of Tyree Graham, Eric Hodge, Gavin Nolan, Brock Weaver. All these guys are state champions. So when this young man is healthy, he's somebody to watch, and I'm excited to watch him wrestle. But a couple other things I'd like to see, Basil versus Prosen versus Krauser. That interests me right there. I'd like to see those guys, and then a little 2A love with Basil and Hicks. One is ranked one is ranked 3, and then you've got a little 3A Barrett versus Coney versus Bonachea. All 3 of those kids are tough. Um, but if you go down this bracket, I mean, it really is anybody's game. 48 loaded, as I said, with all these rankings, and a couple kids that I put on my watch list that I think could
Hmm.
make some noise is a Jacob Fuentes from Braden River and a Keaton Torres from Winter Springs. I think those 2 kids are very tough. They're in the middle of the rankings there with Cabra, middle high, somewhere around there. And I think those are a couple kids that could upset somebody.
Very cool. Brant, just gonna give you just a sentence or two about 144. Anything you're interested?
I'm curious to see if Nathan Barrett actually wrestles 144. He's been at 50 and above all summer. Be interesting if he does get in there. See where he is in 3A. And just if you are a Cobra Plus member and you want to see updated rankings, I found out this morning this is where Greedy will be this season. He will be in
Mm.
144. So maybe some of those
Breaking
3A
news
guys,
by Cabra
some of
Wrestling.
those 3A guys maybe don't want to cut down to
Breaking news by
144.
Cabra. Greedy
Um,
moving to 144.
That is breaking news. It's updated within the last hour. But that's one of the things that sticks out to me, along with everything that Dan said about the switch.
So I'm going to give a Georgia flavor, and that is, for those of you who don't know, Hunter Prosen. Obviously, the people in Central Florida know him. He comes down for Danny Byron. He comes down for knockout with all of the Camden crew and everything else. Hunter is a 2-time Georgia State champ, a 1-time runner-up, I believe. I think he lost in last year's state finals to Max MacArthur. Hunter, if I'm wrong, then just please send me a message and correct me. But that's what I'm doing off
Last
the top of my
year,
head.
last year he took third at 138.
Third. Okay, so he must have lost to somebody in the semis. Oh no, he took third at Super 32. This tournament. He took third at this tournament.
Oh no, when I looked up his track wrestling, it said
Okay.
that
But regardless, like
track wrestling
Basil,
could be wrong.
Barrett, Krauser was a
Let us
state
know.
runner-up last year. This is a great weight. You're gonna have somebody, Sebastian Bonachea, who I also believe placed at this tournament last year, who might not be. I mean, it's going to be seeded, but probably might be down a little bit further than what you would expect. So you're going to see some really good quarterfinals and very good semifinal
Yeah, I
matches.
mean Bonachea took third at 138 last year,
Yeah.
which
All
is
right. So let's move to 120 pounds. And Brant, I asked you the question, what was one of your favorite weights? And you so
Is this
graciously
one of the ones I picked?
yeah,
That's
you
right, I
deferred
did.
to Dan and said you wouldn't take the thunder from him. You'd let him have a few of those. I know when you actually were answering the questions for me when I sent this to you, you're really more you're very interested in kind of Florida versus Florida matchups, maybe within
Yeah.
classification matchups. Is that what we're
I mean,
talking about?
the reality is what I'm working on right now is the season preview for the season. I consider this an intriguing preseason tournament, but I'm most intrigued when I see guys in the same weight class that might be 1-2, like an Eric Bush and a Garrett Ferguson. I almost want to see that more than I want to see a Elijah Hadaway, Lazaro Soto, which makes me odd, because I think that would be a heck of a match to watch in here. This weight class has a lot of that at the top. Um, Later on when we do our picks for shockers or people who could shock, one of mine's in this one. But really going down the list, I didn't do numbers last night like I should have, but just looking at the top here, we've got at least 15 top 5 wrestlers here in my rankings. You have, I'm guessing you can tell us about Elijah Hadaway. You have Ethan Riley here from Lake Highland, Max Coe from Lake Highland. So just a bunch of different looks. I don't know that we'll get to see all the, maybe the ones I have circled as possible inside classification ones, because this thing is just going to be brutal, really, from the Sweet 16 on. Every match is going to be a tough one in this one.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I before we move to Dan, I'm going to have you give a reaction to 120. I want you to go ahead and give us that one person that might be a little off the radar at 120, since we're here.
Yeah, since we're here, I picked Jacob Rivera.
Okay.
He's at Winter Springs. He's JV state champ last year. Has been wrestling everywhere this summer and was just unlucky to be caught behind in a couple weight classes last year. A couple guys as starters, but really on the cusp of something big. And this would certainly be one of those weekends that he could showcase what.
Yeah,
he
you
might
can showcase here, definitely. All right, Dan, give me a one or two sentence kind of reaction to 120. What do you think?
I know he mentioned Soto, who is absolutely tremendous, Soto Hadaway, but I'm intrigued at Hadaway Morales. Just in the past, I don't know, 6 months, they've gone 1-1. Um, so I'd love to see a rubber match with them. I know Hadaway took one, Morales took one. It'd be great to see who gets the third. And then as far as a young man that is on my watch list is Ethan Riley with LHP. He made a transition before last season to go to LHP. He was at the school where my son is, and he's had a lot of growth. I got to spend time with him at Fargo, and I'm really, really intrigued to see where he's at. There's some studs and some hammers in this weight class, and I'd love to see how he holds up. So he's on my watch list. I think he can make some noise.
Very cool. Yeah, no, you guys have mentioned Elijah Hadaway a few different times now, and just to give everybody a little bit of a background, Hadaway is an absolute hammer out of Camden County in Georgia. He 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 is a little bit, I guess, maybe a little bit more like Rivera in that, like in that Camden County room. I mean, I think 2 years ago he was a state placer or a state finalist at 106, but he was behind Bradley Patterson, who was a 3-time state champion in Georgia, so last year. So he came down to the knockout. He came down to the Danny Byron. He wrestled all these studs exceptionally well. But if you were looking at last year's brackets, you might not have seen his name and you might not know who he is. And I'm telling you right now, like you guys said, Hadaway, Bush, Ferguson, who had a really good Georgia Super 32, Glover, Soto. I mean, we could go on and on. The truth of the matter is 120 is so deep, like Brant said, you will get matchups that are unbelievable very early in this tournament or in this bracket. It's going to be unbelievably
Even
good.
there's a Georgia kid, and Georgia guys would recognize his name. The last name Schuler, I believe. His older brother is at a heavier weight, which I think that's his brother, right?
I don't know.
But yeah, there's some hammers, but yeah, well.
All right, so let's jump to 13. That is the weight that I drew as kind of one of the most interesting ones. I think, as I was going through it at the very beginning, I was kind of counting the number of like returning state qualifiers. I'm like, returning state qualifier, returning state qualifier, returning state qualifier. And this is not unusual to see this huge number of just studs at 6 and 13, 20, 26, and down in the lighter weights. And we get to the upper weights and it's a little bit thinner, although I will say there's some freaking good upper weight classes here. But I think there might be like 8 2A 106 returning state qualifiers that are at 113. I mean, just in 2A or something like that. It was
Yeah.
crazy how the sheer number, I mean, it was that were there. But I mean, just look, one of the things I love about this weight is that for me, there is no one that is just like head and shoulders above everyone else. Like this could be so good. Gary Mendez is a returning state finalist. You got Donovan Jenkins, Kale Wimberly, Benito Barnhart, who was a returning state finalist as well. Kevin McLean, Koa Deloach, who went up to the Georgia Super 32 and wrestled exceptionally well. Wrestled well out in Fargo. Look, I count. I mean, I don't even know. I think you have like 20 kids who are ranked in the top 10, 20 something kids who are ranked in the top 10 by you,
6 in the top
Brant.
2.
Yes.
3 of my number ones are here.
So this is going to be a banger at 113 pounds. So Brant, we'll go to you first. What is it about 113 that stands out to you?
I think you touched upon it with the depth. You look at some of these weight classes and some of the ones that jump out to us, and you can almost predict like a high profile final or high profile semifinal. You maybe don't have that here. You don't have like stop the gym kind of names, but you have stop the gym kind of talent, and you've got just a whole collection of people, and it's hard to pick who would be in the final in this weight class, and that's why it's intriguing to me because I wouldn't even begin to tell you who's going to be wrestling for the top spot here because it's such a collection of guys that are worthy enough to be there.
Is there one match that you're most interested in as far as between two kids? If we
Not,
get it, because who knows whether they'll even be close to each
not
other in the
even at the
bracket.
moment. I mean, I'm looking at my rankings. So like Code Deloach, I know he's going 120 this year. So he's not necessarily an equal, him and Benito, if they face each other, those are 1A matches, but they may not be in the same weight when the season comes down because I've already confirmed through coaches what weight they're going to be. I like Donovan Jenkins, kind of on the outside maybe of some people's radar, and Kevin McLean is in here. They've wrestled this summer, and Donovan got the win in that, so I guess that'd be one I want to see.
Very cool. Dan, instant reaction to 113.
Wow. I mean, I think the first text that I sent you guys after going through this was, wow, 113. I mean, unbelievable. Like you said, 6 or 8 or something that are 1 or 2 in any of his rankings. Yeah, I mean, listen, I agree with him. A Deloach Wimberly or Deloach Wimberly Barnhart, those three are ranked really high at 1A. 1 or 2 in whatever weight classes they drop to, they'll be number 1 or number 2 or wherever they land. So that should be fun there. One kid that I'm interested in watching that will be on my watch list
Yeah.
is ranked number 5 out of the Florida Keys, which is Costa Tuttle. It's Tuttle time, baby. That's what they say when he competes, and he's a tough kid at number 5. And I'm with this lineup with the kids that are in here. I'm interested to see how tough he is. I think
I love that.
And I have a dark horse in here too. And now that I'm looking at my list, and it's Luke
Yeah.
Ladle, was wrestling at Sarasota. He's at Cardinal Mooney this year, program.
Oh, Mooney has a program?
This is their second year.
Wow.
BB trained and having just success throughout the last couple months. So curious to kind of get a gauge of where he is now that he's in 1A.
Well, I'll tell you, and if I'm going to add one. I'm actually going to add two. Just make sure that everybody knows Jamie Jones out of Camden is really, really good. You should definitely keep an eye on him. It's a stacked weight though; it's really hard. And then Gavin Fisher, who didn't wrestle the postseason last year, right?
I don't know that he wrestled at all last year. Or
He has been somebody we know exceptionally well and have watched compete lots of different times. Man, I'll tell you what, this is just going to be a lights out weight. And I don't know. At the end of this, I'm going to ask you guys, if you were to park yourself at one weight class and watch just one weight class, what would it be? All right. You're going to have to tell me which one it is. I think 113 might get my vote. All right. Let's move to 126.
And Gavin
Daniel
Fisher did wrestle some last year. It was 30-2, but the year before he placed 4th. So
right. Daniel, 126 was amongst your 14 weight classes that you picked as your favorite. So why was it 126 one of the top ones?
126. I have it here. Um, well, hold on. Sorry,
He
everybody.
took this is one of the ones he took from me, I think, too.
I didn't know it
I
was,
didn't take it from me, but I gave it to you. I
well,
didn't
it was
try to
handed
argue
to
for
me
it.
by our
We
mediator,
both wanted it, and
by our
I didn't
mediator.
argue
But
for
anyway, speaking of this weight, another tough weight. It'll be tough not to sit by these mats with a 55-man bracket that's completely loaded. We've got 10 returning state placers. We've got 16 in the top 10, 5 in the top 3, ranked by Cabra Wrestling. Please
it.
go
Yes.
Cabra, $1 first month.
Oh, there we go.
And it is absolutely incredible. I'm looking at some stuff here, and I'm kind of thinking on the lines of Brant when I looked at this. There is some 1A, 2A, 3A matches that I would love to see. I mean, I would love to see any of these 6 kids wrestle each other. But as far as for that, I'm looking at Seneca Barrios, Seneca versus Barrios, number 1 and number 2 at 2A. I'm looking at Wimberley and Zerka, number 2 and number 3. And I'm looking at Jackson and DeBella, 3A, number 8 and number 9. Those are 3 matches that I'm interested in seeing and looking at and watching. But yeah, there are some Camden kids in here that are really, really tough. There's an Ohio kid that's
Hmm.
really tough.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
one kid that is on my watch list that could beat everybody maybe in the whole tournament is the third place state guy out of 3A of Illinois at 120 is Chaz Robinson coming in from Chicago, who was a kid that placed third in the state. His brother won it all this year at the NCAAs, and he's coming down from Victory Elite. He's somebody that people need to keep an eye on. He could rock the boat.
I love that deep cut. I didn't even see Chaz Robinson down there in my preview for and boy, you know what? When Dan cuts you deep, you know you've been cut, right? I mean, come on. All right. I love that, Dan. All right. So let's go to Brant. Brant, instant reaction 126?
Yeah, I mean, I same pretty much all the things he said. It's loaded. It's tough to pick maybe who's in the final. I remember Lucas Barrios last year at this tournament, kind of making
Yeah.
a statement and
Yeah.
beating some highly regarded kids. Uh, Curious to see if he can follow up that again. And I'm curious Kale Senecas because I do have him ranked. I have them ranked 1, 2 if they get a chance to face each other.
Yeah, no, I don't really have a whole lot to add except for the fact that I mean, if you look down the list, like Dan said, Seneca, Barrios, Calcinas, Cope, Rodriguez, Nathan Harvey, you're talking about so many in 2A. I mean, this could look like a 2A podium, and there's no guarantee that they're all going to be on or in the top 4 here. So it is a fantastic weight, and it's a deep weight. It's also very similar to 113 in that I don't know if we know how it's going to play out. Like, I mean,
I don't think I could pick a winner here, like
yeah,
confidently. I mean, obviously you can pick one, but I wouldn't
Yeah,
be confident with a pick in this
correct.
respect.
Yeah. I mean, with so many, like you guys said, with Seneca and Zerka. I mean, even guys down a little bit lower at 5, like a Caleb Gautier. Um,
yeah.
I mean,
Hmm.
this is a kid that's tough as nails that could shake up the what do they say? Shake up the leaf pack or whatever they shake up the.
Shake up the leaf pack.
I don't know.
I don't know what he's
I
talking
think
about.
I'm talking next, but after I'm done talking, I'm gonna Google that.
Shake up the.
Google, shake up the leaf pack.
Shake up the watershed or something. I don't know. I forget how they say it. I'm excited right now. I'm going to 32 this weekend. I'm taking pictures at the tournament. And it's
Speaking
so
of which,
good.
yeah, you guys will both be there,
To
right?
shake up the leaf pack. This is according to Google AI.
Ah,
It refers to a process in aquatic ecology for studying a stream's health. It
huh.
involves retrieving a bag of leaves that has been placed in a stream and shaking its contents into a tray to collect and study, this is fitting, the macroinvertebrates.
Well, you
Yes.
just You just made some shit up and it ended up being on freaking the internet, of course.
Let's go. That's how intelligent. That's my
He's not the best in the business for nothing, folks.
That's right. The marine biology. He pulls out the deep marine biology cut there. All right.
reality.
So let's move to 215. And I love this as a pick from you, Brant, because the big guys don't usually get a lot of love, especially in the fall, right?
Yeah.
But 215 it might be one of the best or one of the best weights of the afternoon.
I mean, you're right. It's football season, which I know by my Fridays being tied up with my daughter being in, captain in the band. But it is a deep weight, which is kind of shocking, and you hope people stick around. I know a lot of people leave after the young ones, or the lighter ones, but this is just Caleb Johns, Porter Loveland, Freedom McDaniel. Those are all 2A wrestlers. Uh, Darius Montgomery, who's been at
Hmm.
Middleton and Tampa and just kind of on the cusp. He's now over with Funky Monkey, and I'm just excited to see what strides he's making. You've got two Lake Highland prep kids in here, Colton
Hmm.
Bell, Grant Silverfield, who we also saw at Bulls. Ricky Herman from Camden County is there. Caleb Gaskin from Camden County. Just for a heavier weight class. And I'll admit some of these heavier weight classes maybe not be as deep, but this one just sticks out to me as just a bunch of guys in there that can wrestle. And I don't know who would come out on top in this one either. And that's what stuck out to me.
Yeah, no, what you just said is absolutely fantastic. I mean, it is certainly appropriate. 215, most of the time you get a couple of really good kids. This weight class has many good kids, many really, really talented kids. Dan?
Listen, the one going back to kind of the classification thing. Yes, it's loaded. It's a little baby weight class, but it's a baby weight class
It's
filled with
tiny, but there's
muscle,
no easy.
and there's a lot of good kids. The match I'd like to see is a 1A matchup between 1 and 3 is Montgomery versus Pond. That is a matchup I'd love to see. And then I've been watching Colton Bell at some tournaments this year. He's jumping levels, and I'm going to take him as my pick on my watch list. I think Colton Bell could take this one home.
I have a
Very cool.
few guys to watch too that were
Hmm.
on my list I sent, and Nate Pond was one of them. At Cocoa Beach, Elijah Willis at Anclote has really developed last season, and now has like the confidence. And someone who I need to find out what school he's going to be going to, Renzo Cooligan, has been just making a little bit of noise at some tournaments around here, and he'll be in the 215. So I'm curious to see more of him out there.
Yeah. Well, for me, like obviously I'm really interested. This is a weight that I'm not sure how Camden kind of works out. I know you've got Wilder down at 90. You've got Schulze up at 285. I have no doubt that these both of these 215s can go right in Herman and Gaskin. But from a perspective of the Southeast, I'm really interested to see, how good they're going to be. Because 215 in the state of Georgia in that classification is super good. So I'm really interested in kind of getting that measure. All right, so let's jump to 157 pounds. And again, another weight that maybe not as deep as some of the morning sessions, but it features. So I don't know if it's right for me to do it, but I have a tendency to look at the big names and go, "Oh man, that's going to be a great final," and that's a real danger with some really talented individuals in the weight. You've got Noah Leota, who's number one at 1A by you. Didier Navoa down from Southwest Miami, number two in 3A. You got Chen and Campion in there as well. You've got a number of really talented individuals. But for me, KJ Vasquez and Brock Weaver from Camden, I naturally have a tendency to go and look at those two names and say, wow, that would be an unbelievable match, for a state final. Like, I mean, and you're going to get it in a qualifier or an early entry tournament. So I love the depth and everything else. Two other names I really want to say is or really want to give a point of letting people know about is Javen Bateman out of Tift County in Georgia is also super good, and I'm really interested in seeing how Morris from Illinois and McIntosh from Lake Island Prep also kind of come into this weight and compete. Dan, initial response on 157.
Yeah, I wrote down the same thing. KJ versus Weaver. Please, 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 please. I want to see that. I wrote down the same thing, and then I
You
wrote
wrote please, 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 Jason.
I,
yes.
I, I didn't write please, please, please. But I will go with please, please, please. I
Yeah,
mean, that would be a great match.
and then a kid that I put on my watch list is Tomas Campion from Gladiator Wrestling Club with
Hmm.
4. He's a hell of a kid. He's a tough kid, and I'd love to see what he does in kind of a stacked weight class like this. So I'll put him on my watch list.
So actually, I wanted to ask as we move to Brant, has Campion, do you know if Campion and Navoa have wrestled?
Um,
You don't have to
you're,
look it up. Do you know off the top of your head?
I don't know anything off the top of my head.
All right, don't look it up. Don't look it
That's
up.
why I have my spreadsheet that takes up a ton of space on anyone's drive.
Yeah, and then like you mentioned with a Noah Leota in there, we know the fan.
Novoa won 10-3 this summer
Yeah,
in a matchup between the two.
Okay.
yeah.
So
We know the Leota name, pretty
yeah.
good sister there, and he's had a great run at Hernando, and I think maybe he's ready and poised to.
Well, and one of the things that's really interesting is Leota is just a sophomore, right? And Campion just a sophomore. So I mean, this is going to be it's going to be a lot of fun to watch them compete against the level that we have here. 157, Brant.
I'm I'm not going to say please, 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 because I don't root for things, but I think we'll see Weaver and Vasquez in the final here, and it'll be worth watching. Obviously, be
Oh
worth staying
yeah,
until the end of the day to watch. So
it
folks,
might be one of the best finals that you get.
camp out for the day. Stick around for that one.
Yeah,
Definitely.
those two kids are
All right. So
awesome.
let's move back up the scale to 190 pounds.
That's
And
me.
that is Daniel. Daniel, tell us a little bit about 190 pounds.
190 pounds again. A little baby weight class with lots of muscle because these bigger kids are playing football, like Brant said. But the kids that are in here, all I got to say is please give me Ryder Wilder versus Connor Bonnie. I want to see it, champ versus champ. Let's get it on. How awesome would that matchup be? But this is a 17-man bracket. But on top of that, you got another kid, Aiden Buck, that comes in with like a 53-14 record, who is tough as nails as well out of Camden, Georgia, who continues to make noise when he comes down to Florida. He's a beast, so he could make some noise. But you have 2 returning state champs, 4 in the top 10, 2 in the top 3. And yeah, Wilder versus Bonnie. Please, can we get a champ? 2 on my watch list that could shake up the leaf patch or whatever it was.
Oh my God.
One I just spoke about is Aiden Buck, and the other one is Ronan Galt. Ronan Galt is a tough wrestler. He's a good wrestler, and if he can get hot in this tournament, he could shake it up. So that's mine. That's 190. Let's get it on. Woo! Can't wait.
Brant, initial reaction.
I don't have as much interest in this one just because there's so much talent out of Georgia and Lake Highland Prep in this, and it doesn't affect things going in. But the one of my guys to watch is Juan Mars.
Mhm.
Wrestled at Miami Central last year. He's wrestling for Carroll City here. I haven't confirmed if that's where he's going, but there have been some transfers to Carroll City this summer. Brandon Simmons was one of them. Was another one. But just a kid who's out there wrestling and getting better every week. And I keep seeing his name and juggernauts and other AAU stuff throughout the summer. And now he's going to get a chance to kind of gauge where he is going into the season. So that was a guy I have as one of my ones to watch.
I'll finish up 190 with telling everyone, and this, like, I sound as if I'm constantly touting Camden County and, you know, everything else.
And
I'm
they come
really,
to, they
they're
come
they're a
to
great
everything.
program.
Yeah, they come to everything. We always see them. They're good.
But I have to play the opposite to you guys talking about Florida kids a lot, so that's why I'm doing
Yes.
so as well. And I'm going to tell you right now, like the best kid in the gym, probably the best kid in the Southeast. Your number two ranked 190 pounder in the nation, committed to Northwestern, Ryder Wilder, 3-time Georgia State champ. I don't think he's ever lost a high school match. Okay. That's the level of competition you've got, right? So if Connor Bonnie happens to be at the weight, right, I don't expect Connor will beat Ryder. Okay. That's just my expectation. We don't hand out medals before matches are wrestled. You never know what's going to happen, right? And all these sorts of things. But you can learn an awful lot about somebody when they go up against somebody of that caliber of a wrestler. And if they can go out and compete, man, your stock goes way, way, way up because Ryder Wilder can beat anybody in the country. I mean, I
And
wasn't he a Fargo champ? I mean, like unbelievable.
and that's a matchup that Connor Bonnie goes in there. If he goes in there and just works and just shakes him up a little bit, does something that's great, as we've seen in the past, you don't necessarily have to win the match to get noticed. But
Yeah, that's
ev-
true. That's
everybody
true.
on these national rankings and these national coaching panels and these national everythings are looking where Ryder Wilder wrestles all throughout the year. And they're going to see your name if you wrestle him and what happened. And look, Connor Bonnie's a state champ himself. Connor Bonnie is a
That's
hand.
right.
Connor Bonnie
That's
has done
right.
great things. So good, good luck. I'd love to see the match. I want to see what Bonnie can do against him. But again, other kids, Galt Buck and the Mars kid. I mean, these don't sleep on them, but yeah. And as you know, Aiden Buck being a Georgia kid is
Yeah.
not
Well, and finding a spot in the lineup.
right.
I mean, let's be honest. You
Yeah.
got number two kid like in the country sitting right in front of you in your own room. I mean, that's tough, and that's a luxury that Camden has. It's a luxury South Data's had over the years. It's a luxury that, these programs that have developed Lake Highland Prep, we were talking about 215 earlier. I mean, you're going to have Colton Bell and Grant Silverfeld, in the same weight and everything else. You have, if you're at 57, in Lake Island Prep Room, you've got, more sitting in front of you. I mean, who better to kind of learn from and get better from being in the room? So, all right. So let's transition to 165 pounds, a really fun weight. I've got a little piece of information if you guys haven't read the preview
I
at
haven't
this
yet.
point in time. You haven't yet. So
I
I'm going
haven't
to share.
showered yet. I don't have that time
You
luxury that
read the
Dan has.
preview before you shower.
Well, that
I
will
know
happen.
Dan did.
Yeah. Or while you shower, unless
All
the
right,
soap is all
Brant,
over you and the water turns off, and then
one
you,
Give me,
hundred.
give
We
me,
do
give me
not need to
the,
hear. We do
give me
not need
the,
to hear
yeah.
Dan's thing here.
I don't need to be sick again today. Um, give us the piece of info before I start talking about it.
So, do you want me to give you the piece of info? Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
All right. So, out of 165 pounds, the piece of info is this, and that is Ethan Sony from Victory Elite out of Illinois. Right. He is down in wrestling here this weekend, and really, really talented kid. It was an Illinois 3A state qualifier. He lost in the blood round to Jovan Volkajovic
ouch.
from formerly from Florida,
Yep.
right? Was from Illinois, then from Florida, and then back to Illinois. Lost to him in the blood round last year at the Illinois State Tournament.
And I believe Vocevic
Yeah, something like that.
was
Yeah.
what was he either first or second here last year in the
He
Super
was a
32
placer,
early entry.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jovan is committed to a great college. He's a good kid. Jovan was actually in my house all summer working with Daniel while they were both home. So great young
Very
man.
cool. Yeah, he
Yeah,
was third here last year.
yeah. Illinois 3A state qualifier. Yeah, he went 2-2. That kid. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You knew that. All right, Brant, what do you got?
I mean, again, we'll try to go a little quicker just because
We're
these
running out of
weights are
time.
so good.
Yeah.
But Yeah, this one sticks out to me. It's the name one for one. You've got Nikita Chevkovsky, Vladislav Tchaikovsky, and
Very
Konstantin
nice.
Kaspakian. Uh,
I'm glad you
and,
took this one.
and then and Andre Rojas and Owen Nappy and Christian Gilkis. No, there's a lot of guys in here. To me, I don't know. Nadav Nafshi out of Lake Highland Prep is in this one. Again, the reason I had picked this weight is because it's a 3A kind of smorgasbord with Rojas, the Chepkovsky's brothers, Nappy, Velasco out of Columbus, and Gilkis. I want to know where they are heading into the season so I can kind of format my rankings. Uh, Southridge has big, huge plans for Rojas, and thinking he could end up being a multi-state champ by the time his high school career is done, and he's right there ready to kind of start cementing that this weekend. That's the one that sticks out to me, is seeing how he does and kind of see what we get from Illinois and Lake Highland also.
Very cool. Instant reaction, Dan?
Listen, if you don't know Nadav Nafshi, he's a Pitt commit. I believe this is the same
He
kid.
is.
And he is a national prep runner-up. He lost to another Florida kid who's at Lake Island Prep in the national prep finals in Bo. And now they're together. He's a tough, 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 tough kid. So don't be surprised if he wins that whole thing there. However, I would like to see him and the Vlad Chekasovlev go at it.
Chepkovsky.
That would be fun. I watched both of the Tchaikovskys wrestle at Fargo this summer, and they are both very, very tough. Speaking of Rojas, Rojas is number 2, Tchaikovsky's number 3 at 3A. Can we please get that matchup? I would love to see that matchup. That would be great. And then obviously with the Ethan Sony kid, you mentioned him. And then on my watch list is Mr. Nicholas Velasco of Columbus. I know he's ranked in the middle of the road there, but he is tough, tough, tough. He's had a good offseason, and I would like to see him. He's on my watch list.
Very nice. I love that. Again, another, you know what? If you get Dan to do some homework, man, he pulls out the stuff. Native Nafshi is absolutely a stud out of PA. I think he wrestled regular PA before going to Germantown Academy. And last year wrestled Bo in the finals. I mean, it was fantastic. But that said, like one of the things that's really great about 165 is there's a lot of depth. There should be some really, really good matches at 165 pounds. I wonder if Vladislav and Nikita end up hitting each other in the bracket, whether they wrestle or whether they don't. I don't
Another
know how
guy,
that will
don't
play out.
sleep on Thiago Viana down there at Trident. I mean,
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
it's tough. He's
Yeah,
a
no,
returning
perfect.
state
Yeah.
placer. Um, he's good. He's real good.
All right. We're moving to 285 pounds. And I'll be honest with you guys, it is an 8-man bracket. We are not surprised by an 8-man bracket. What I am surprised about is the fact that you have 2 heavyweights who could win a state title in their states, and that is Joseph Schulze from Camden, who won this tournament a year ago. Blake Elder from Jensen Beach, who's ranked number 2 by Cabra in 2A. Both are fantastic heavyweights, absolutely great heavyweights here. For me, the most interesting thing, I think that's your final. I can't imagine it's not your final. But you know what? Heavyweights are just, I mean, things happen. Things happen, and that's the way it works. It'll be interesting. Reed and Ortiz are both ranked by you, Brant, and it'll be interesting to see kind of how they go out and how they compete against the level that is Elder and Schulze. How about you, Brant?
Yeah, I think that's the thing to watch is the 3 to 9, 9 wrestlers in this. So they'll have a rat tail going into it.
Hmm.
Ortiz, Reed, yes, and I'm curious, like as we know how as the season comes and we get into the dual season, especially guys like Hunter Caban, Isaiah Jones, Somerset, and Winter Springs, respectively, they're going to need to help out and be part of that lineup. If I know Isaiah Jones is in the Winter Springs lineup, I don't know where Hunter sits with Somerset, but I know they've been looking for bigger guys. So I would imagine kind of a test run for him to kind of see where they're going. Jones has been wrestling all over Central Florida, so I'd be curious to see where he kind of fits in here too.
Dan, anything to add?
I agree with everything both of you said. Elder versus Schultze. I think, yeah, Schultze being the reigning 32 early entry champ at this weight is great. Elder having a great offseason, has wrestled everywhere, um,
Hmm.
has had it. And I mean, shout out to Blake Elder, who went to Fargo and might have been in one of the baddest, toughest weight classes that was out there. Uh,
Hmm.
and good for him to get that experience. But yeah, and again, yeah, I'd like to see, like you said, what a Gabe Ortiz does or a Hunter Caban does. We know the last name Caban. Um,
Yeah, we do.
so yeah, I'd love to see what both of them do. And then obviously you've got another kid on there, Ryan Reed. That's interesting.
All right, Dan, we're going to go right back to you as we shift to the morning session at 138 pounds.
Boom, my turn again. That's me. All right, let
And
me
this is one that you highlighted as a matchup that you really potentially wanted to see.
Yes, there is a matchup that I would like to see
Although
there.
there's many matchups, to be honest with you, but go
Yeah,
ahead.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. There's many matchups. But anyway, this is another big time 56 man bracket. Um, woo, yeah, there's a rematch between Day and Smolarski. Smolarski won SummerSlam pretty convincingly, but I think Day's been in the room just putting in the work. I'd like to see if he gets closer to him. But as far as like the matchup, I think the matchup to watch there is Smolarski versus Santos. One's a Georgia State champ, one's a Georgia State runner-up. That would be a fun one to watch. But this has 6 returning state placers, 16 ranked in the top 10, 8 ranked in the top 3 by the amazing Cabra, and just absolutely loaded. Like I said, Santos, Smolarski, Day, Jackson. I mean, I did the same thing that maybe Brant does. A little 1A love, Jackson 2, Day 1. Let's see that matchup. 2A Shannon Thompson 2 versus 3. Let's see that matchup. And then a 3A matchup with 3 and 4. I'd like to see is Sagai versus Barry. I think those matchups I think intrigue me, and I hope I'm by the mat for those. And then on my watch list is Dylan Fernandez from Somerset. I think he ended the year with a bad taste in his mouth. I know he's been putting the work in, and I think he's poised to make a run this year. And then a Mateo Gonzalez, who's over at Archbishop now. I'm excited to see where he's at level wise coming off last year. I think he was injured last year, if I don't remember correct, if I remember correctly. So um, I'd like to see how he's doing. But yeah, loaded, fun matchups to watch. Good kids in here, and again, you also have Clint Plotner Leg from LHP, who, if he gets hot and he bristles like he knows how, that's
Hmm.
somebody that's dangerous in this bracket.
No doubt. So, Brant, I'm going to shift it to you. I know that Dan mentioned almost every single name in the
everyone.
every single person in the bracket,
I'm
but
gonna mention two
yeah.
things, and we can move on. Mateo Gonzalez is one. I have the watch. He's a freshman as a seventh grader. He finished in third place. He was out injured last year. Has moved on to Archbishop McCarthy. See how that transition is going. And I have been told. Now I get told a lot of things by people, but I've been told by some people on the coaching ranks to watch for Darian Shannon this year, and they think he's poised to win a state title. This would be a good weekend to kind of gauge where he's at.
Very cool. I'm going to go ahead and finish it with
There's 56 people in the bracket, by the way. I only talked about like 8 of them.
we know we're just come on. Come on. Like the truth is again, I don't want to belabor the point with the Georgia kids, but those two are fantastic. They will be pushed. This is a really good weight though. And there's a ton of Florida talent here. And it's gonna be a lot of fun. Let's add in a Jackson Jorgensen out of Illinois as another person to watch. I'm really interested in the nine. I don't know, rank number those ranked number 8, number 9, number 14, those sorts of things, because while they may not make a run to the end, I learned a lot about how wrestlers compete when they lose on the front side and come through the back side. This is your opportunity to just kind of, you know, like get out there and get that mat time. It gets good competition. So, this is such a good opportunity.
And it's a chance for some of these kids to see where they're at too, right? I mean, like we said, you get a Shannon versus a Thompson, 2 and 3. You mentioned every people are high on Shannon right now, or you get you look down there and you see a Clinton Thompson and a Mateo Gonzalez that are 3 and 2 in his rankings. Interesting to see, hey, who's gonna, you know, who's gonna bark first, right?
Absolutely. All right. So,
175.
yep.
Uh, First off, talk about the out-of-staters. You have Micah Spinazzola from Illinois, Brian Wright from Camden County, New Jersey is showing up here, Dean Natal, also Lake Highland Prep with Jackson and Jello. Drake Bonney, Mac Andrews also in the hunt there. I It was confirmed to me today that Drake is going to wrestle 65 at the actual Super 32, but he is 75 this weekend. Jacob Rodriguez coming off winning in Georgia. Don't know if he'll be here. Kind of a game time decision on if he needs some rest there. Certainly his appearance uh, raises the level here. He's just been wrestling so well and been successful. And then you also have guys, if you go down, Bennett Schweitzer, Eli Diaz, Shaw Garrett, Jordan Hagler. I mean, just a bunch of guys that I'll be curious how many of them get kind of into the mix in like the quarterfinals and then like the Conci semis and such too, because those will still be tough and kind of loaded spots for guys that could end up really high on the podium in March.
Very cool. Yeah. Daniel, instant reaction 175. Somebody to watch?
Boom. No. Yeah, listen, you've got a young man, or Jackson Angelo, that I'll watch. He was a blood round kid at Fargo, if I remember right. He lost in the blood to the eventual kid that took third out there. So tough kid, took a run. We know about Jacob Rodriguez and the people that we have, but could we get a state rematch between Bonnie and Andrews? I'd like to see that, just like Brant would like to see that as well. But yeah, there's a lot of good kids in here, like you guys said. There's a lot to watch. Um, I don't have much to add, but yeah, lots of
Very cool. The only thing I would say is I've only watched him wrestle a few times, but I saw some results from the summer, and that is Bennett Schweitzer wrestled Kyle Gallo exceptionally tough. We know how good Kyle Gallo is. Um, Jacob
and
Rodriguez looked really good up at Super 32
state
in
runner-up,
Georgia.
Georgia
Hmm?
State runner-up Brian Wright, right?
Yeah, so Brian Wright, absolutely. Look, the level of talent, it may not be as deep as some of the other weights that we've talked about, but the level of talent at 175 again is going to make for some exceptionally good, like Brant said, quarterfinals, semifinals, conci semifinals. There's just going to be some really good matchups. All right. So let's now shift. We are into our final three, and we
Yep.
are running out of time. I don't want to take too much time and talk about this, but 106 pounds
Oh, I was waiting.
is
Let's go.
is
Uh-oh.
just
I'm
it is loaded. It has a ton of talent. Kids who who are young, who are making some kind of, they're coming in, and it's gonna be interesting to watch them against some kids who they've qualified at this weight a year ago at the state tournament. You add in Lucas Lane out of Lake Island Prep, DeJesus and Newton out of Camden County, Georgia again. But I'll tell you what, Lido and Ortiz, two number twos by you, Brant, kind of are up there. This is going to be a fun way to watch. Dan, why don't you give me your initial reaction in a matchup that you might be interested in seeing?
First of all, I'd love to see Fiore and Lane go at it, because I think this bracket could be won by a middle school kid. One of those two kids could win it. They are that good. And I'd love to see that matchup. If it happens early, then only one's got a chance. But that's a huge matchup. I mean, I I, I think Fiore, as far as like the national middle school rankings, was number 1, and Lucas Lane was number 2 at their
Yeah.
respective weights for middle school national
Hmm.
ranking. But the guy that I'm going to look at is a guy that he's got ranked number 2, and that's Zach Leto. I want to see where he's at coming into this season. I want to see what levels he's jumped. I'm interested in that young man.
And an important piece to the Jesuit puzzle.
Yeah, I'd like to see what he does. And and look, could we see a Zach Leto, Jackson Hackett, an LG Jesuit, and kind
Jesuit
of
matchup.
see
Hmm.
where that goes for future bragging rights there. So yeah, but a lot of good stuff. But those
Brant.
kids, Fiore
Yeah,
and
I'll keep it quick. Jake Margolis out of
Hmm.
Olympic Heights and Vlad Drown out of Rockledge here in the county I live in. I'm just curious to see how they mix in after having really strong seasons last year.
and you've
Very
got
cool.
Georgia State placer Clayton Newton coming down from
No
Georgia.
doubt. No doubt. And knows that crew very well. So, and DeJesus is exceptionally good as well out of Georgia. All right, moving to 150 pounds, our second to last weight class. Um, this is Dan.
Me? No way! I got
You
another one.
you do. You get another one.
All
What do you
right.
tell what are you gonna tell me about 150?
150. First, I'm going to magnify it so I can actually read it through my glasses. Then, Brent, do I drive you crazy?
No, not at all.
Listen, 39-man bracket, 5 returning state placers, 7 ranked in the top 10, 3 ranked in the top 3. I kind of went the same direction that Brant goes with the 1A, 2A, 3A here. As far as a overall match, what I would like to see is a Titus DeYoung versus Higgins, Brandon Higgins. I think I would love to see Titus DeYoung and Brandon Higgins, two tough kids. One was fourth at 150 at our state. One was third at 132 in Georgia. So I'd like to see that. And then as far as 2A, 1A, 3A, Kershaw versus Thomas, I'd like to see West versus Reber and Pelicano versus Ferreira. My guy to watch is Tyler Gray. He's been wrestling well this offseason. I'd like to see if he's ready to go to the next level, especially with this deep of a bracket.
Brant?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be guys that maybe we don't know real well to kind of step up here. It's not a deep weight class as far as high end. I think it's deeper in the middle. A couple
Hmm.
guys that just to list to hang on so we can jump to the last weight is Drake DePetris
Hmm.
with Funky Monkey did almost exclusive JV stuff last year. See how he does when he gets um, into the mix here, and then Howard Hill. Just curious of that young wrestler how he does at 150 in this weekend.
Very nice. I would just add Leighton Collazo, who went up to Fargo, is somebody also to watch. But I agree with you guys. It's the Petrus I'm interested in seeing Gray, but ultimately I agree with Dan. Like Higgins to Young is should be a fantastic match if we get it. All right,
Final weight
so
class 132.
yep.
All respect to 132s. Sorry, we're doing you last. Prove us wrong. Have an exciting weekend. Well, I think this could be exciting. It just doesn't necessarily jump out on paper. Not as many, as far as Florida kids, not as many top 3 wrestlers. In fact, only 2 kids I have ranked in the top 4 are in this weight class coming into the week, or in the top 3 coming into this weekend. Um, Reed Yakes trying to repeat
Hmm.
here coming in. I'm curious to see like a Landon Quiroga, a Jasper Kroom, a Cole Webb, guys that are very important in team battles too. Assuming I see Landon Quiroga is wrestling for LHP. We don't know if he's there. It's still at Merritt Island. Um, and then guys in the 3A side, James Aguilar always seems to get big wins. Carmen DeBella up at Bartram. So there's a lot to kind of watch. I think it's Reed Jakes' weight class to lose, and I don't know who could face him, but it's a kind of a collection of guys that should be battling pretty even. So it should be a fun weight, even if it doesn't like stand out with us with like the headliners.
I agree. Dan?
Interesting matchup for me is Kuroga Kroom. I know Kroom went up to Georgia and I think won that.
Hmm.
So hopefully he stays in here. Karoga and Kroom would be an interesting matchup. They're both 5 and 6 at 1A. The two people that I'm going to watch is a young middle schooler. I think this might be his first or second high school tournament ever, is a Christian Day. Both his brothers are both state placers, and he's a little guy that's moving up now and can wrestle with the big boys. And then another guy who we know the last name of Barak, Roy Barak, is another
Mm-hmm.
young kid that's moving up to where he can wrestle with the high school guys. Those are two middle schoolers that I'm excited to watch and see where they're at.
And I have a kid that I have to watch on my list on here, and that's
Mm-hmm.
Joseph Scott. Has been wrestling at
Mm-hmm.
Hollywood Hills. He's now in the room at Archbishop. You have to think there's some natural improvement in there, also just being in that room.
And then
No doubt.
I would say Gavin, is it Salmons?
Salmons, yeah.
Uh,
It might be Salmons, yeah.
he's a kid to watch, and a ranked 4 there, and he can shake it up.
Yeah, so I mean, as I just finished this, I couldn't actually say anything different than what you guys just said. Yikes. After winning this last year, going to sudden victory and losing to Jake Austin in the state finals, is absolutely unbelievable. Jasper Kroom looked great up at Georgia Super 32. I think this is deeper than Georgia's Super 32 at 132, so it'll be interesting to see kind of. I make a little bit of a comparison when we kind of watch Jasper come out and wrestle here, but this is gonna be a lot of really really good matches, probably very tight matches from the quarterfinals on. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that is
Whew, that's
your
exhausting.
preview. That was hard. Yeah, that was maybe too much. I don't know.
What's going to be more exhausting, Dan?
You guys being there.
Yes, we are going to be there, both of us with our cameras,
Yes.
ready to take pictures, and Brent interviewing coaches and doing his thing. Is your daughter coming with a camera as well?
She might come Saturday. She's got some concert on Sunday, but
we
still
appreciate
in the air
all
if
of
she's
you
coming
that
Sunday.
have made it to this point in time.
Yes.
Even if you fast forwarded through other points in time. But remember,
Or the
what
ones
Dan-
rage watching and just can't wait for it to end to email us.
Yes,
remember that's Ward at wardwrestling.com.
wardwrestling.com.
correct. Ward.
But remember what we said at the very beginning, because that's actually the most important part of this, and that is stay off campus. Don't get, give them an opportunity to kind of clear things out, get things started. I know everybody will be anxious to get there and get started and check their weight and do all those sorts of things, but don't, you want it to go quick. You want them to be efficient and everything else. So, Saturday afternoon at 2, you're going to be chomping at the bit to get in there, get in the gym, get, on the mats, do your thing. We want to wish everybody the best of luck. And yeah, Dan, Brant, both will be there taking tons of pictures.
Yep.
And man, I can't wait. It's going to be a great tournament. Brant, final thoughts on the weekend?
I just can't wait to see some of these matchups happen, see some of these kids. I mean, the great thing is within an hour of the tournament starting, pretty much every match is someone ranked or someone who could be ranked or someone who could be on the podium, or it gets good so quick.
It
and
does.
that's what I'm looking forward to.
And we're going to, yeah. And hey, the kids out there that don't have a number by their name, every year there's a few of those kids that
Oh yeah.
earn their right in the rankings after this tournament, and they shock and they upset and they come through with some big wins.
That's actually one of my favorite parts.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, the big matchups are great. I want to see those matchups as well. But I'm always super interested in the kid that I'm not really know much about who comes out and goes, "Oh man, they're really good. They really improved," or whatever the case is. So,
and just remember, Connor Bonnie, Jason says you have no shot. Or when you're angry, it's Cabra. I mean, it's Jason.
It's like, okay, wait,
it's
what?
Ward at wardwrestling.com.
Yeah.
Best of luck, guys. You take care.
All right. See ya.
See ya.
Where's my mouse?